story takes place about a month, 6 weeks later. So I'm still in the hospital. My life will never be right. I headed down the hall toward the ward's back dormitory, hoping to find privacy in my cubicle, where I could cry. I'd had a miserable week leading up to my birthday. Nightmares plagued my sleep, including one with my mother raging at me, and another in which my brother tried to kill me with a baseball bat. I was not looking forward to the Pass on Saturday to celebrate with my family. At home, I felt lonely and out of place. I hadn't the heart to turn 21. As I approached the dorm, lost in a forest of demon trees with pointing fingers and scowling faces, lacking energy or will to tell myself it wasn't real, I failed to notice what was going on. All of a sudden, someone grabbed my waist and hoisted me from behind. Yikes! I screamed midair. Judy, my cubicle mate, twisted me around and flung me over her back. Her shoulder sucked the wind out of my stomach as I landed on it. "You're coming with me, young lady," she said, while I gasped. She carted me down the hall, fireman style, as if she were a professional who did this every day of the week. "I've got her," Judy shouted as she bounced toward the day room, showing me off like a trophy to the others who appeared, as if by prearrangement, and joined our ragtag parade. I laughed and flapped my arms and legs. "Save me!" I yelled once I could breathe. "Come on, please!" I jutted my chin toward Carol and some teenagers who had stopped to watch. I nodded toward my captor. "Can't you see she's crazy?" Judy flopped me down in the day room next to the ping pong table, where evening snack was about to be served. I was so dizzy I nearly lost my balance, but I grabbed onto the table and managed not to fall. I noticed a pile of small items near the neck, one or two with ribbons tied around them. A moment later, Billy, a tall, handsome black man who was one of our favorite nurses' aides, produced a large aluminum steel tray of cinnamon toast and placed it on the end of the table with a grand flourish. To judge by his face, it was cake for a queen. A tiny flame flickered on a small candle stuck in a piece of toast at the center of a sea of thin, sandy-colored, barely toasted bread. Streaks of warm brown spice, white sugar, and yellow margarine spread across it in uneven lines. "Happy birthday!" everyone shouted. I took a moment to grasp what was happening. It seemed as if I were watching a movie, without words, playing across a screen in disconnected pieces. Nothing fit together to make sense. I saw my friends with smiles on their faces. In the distance, I heard sounds of their singing. "Happy birthday, dear Nina." Oh, I realized, this is for me. Gratitude swelled through me. Tears welled into my eyes, but stopped before they could fall. They love me. You're an unworthy bitch. How could they love you? They're being kind. They didn't have to do this. They had to do this. You're arrogant and selfish. They should hate you. But they're acting like they love me. They'll despise you when they see who you really are. Clouds covered the sun. I knew I had felt joy, but it was gone. I was struggling not to cry again, this time from frustration, when a space opened in the midst of all that back and forth. Maybe you don't have to be worthy to be loved. "Wake up, for Christ's sake!" Rita pulled on my elbow and gave me a shake. "You're not done." I blinked and shook myself. Inhaling deeply, I leaned way over the table to reach the middle of the tray of toast and blew with all my might. The flame hesitated, then gave up. Everyone applauded. "Don't forget these," Leah said, as she helped Judy move the gifts closer to me. Lori and May gave me a coconut with 2 round dark spots on its pointy end that made it look like an enormous cute mouse with big eyes. Leah gave me a handmade mug in an artsy shape with a beautiful blue-green glaze. Carol gave me a set of colored pencils. Judy gave me a tiny spiral-bound notebook. "It's to help you keep track of your new year," she said. Tina gave me a large cookie she'd probably bought for herself. Other patients didn't have presents, but even Ellen said happy birthday. "Thanks for not saving me, guys." I smiled at a clump of younger patients. "And I highly recommend Judy for rescue if this place ever catches on fire." Or if you need to sneak someone out in a sack, added May. I laughed. The perfect elopement for two with their hearts on fire. Who's crazy now? Judy laughed too. We turned our attention to the cinnamon toast. I handed a napkin to any individual who looked vaguely in need of one, and offered sugar and powdered cream to each person holding a cup of the warm coffee Billy had filled from the large metal pitchers that appeared every evening. It's your birthday. You don't have to wait on us, Leah said. It's the least I can do, I replied. I meant it. They had been so good to me, and I wanted to make sure I gave back. The happy aroma of coffee and cinnamon lingered while the party faded away. Most of the patients moved on to watch television. I gathered my presents and carried them to my cubicle, where I arranged them on the bureau next to my bed. As I prepared for the night, the quarrel had resumed. Don't forget you're hopeless. I have friends, they care. Hopeless and unworthy. Don't think you're so great. Maybe I don't have to be worthy to be loved. I think maybe they love me. No, not you, not love. Blah, 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 blah. I lay in bed, but I couldn't sleep. Opposing thoughts still crashed and clattered inside my head. After a long while, seeking distraction from the fight, I decided to focus on my gifts. I pictured each one in order as I had received it. I imagined every detail, every texture, every color, every curve and corner. Somewhere along the third or fourth time through, I drifted off.